Hello everybody, not too long ago I was looking into the HX Stomp XL, ended up getting it. One thing I was looking into and couldn't find much on was using it as a Midi controller. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. Okay, so let's quickly talk about my signal path. I have this loop switcher here, a 3-button switcher that basically just sends up to my Ego compressor, Tumnus Mini, and MXR Timmy Mini. I basically have that set for each guitar with different gain staging, and then I kind of leave it alone. I do have access to add an extra drive before the HX Stomp if I want to by having 2 drives in that loop. Then from there goes into the HX Stomp XL. And then in the effects loop, I have the Eventide, Time Factor, the Big Sky. Then I come back in, and that mixes in with the signal chain. And all I have other than that is a volume control and a single button switch that are controlling parameters within the HX Stomp XL. Okay, now I'll just give you a quick example of why I love this so much. So my clean tone here is basically just a little bit of breakup from the Tumnus. And then with one button press, I can completely change my gain staging and the presets of the Eventide and the Big Sky. So So why do I use it like this? Obviously, the Helix family has really solid delays and reverbs inside of it, especially considering it's got so many other features as well. But you run out of DSP pretty quickly with these. Even the XL has the same exact chip as what the standard HX Stomp has. So even though you have better control of all that, you're still only able to do so much all at once. So like, for example, I like to use kind of an OC3 type of sound with the pitch effects. So when you're doing that, if you're running complicated delays and reverbs and pitch effects, you're going to run out of DSP really quickly, you'll notice. And even, some of the amps are a little bit more DSP intensive than others. So to be able to give you complete flexibility to do whatever you want, this really helps a lot. So there's obviously more than one way that you could do this. You could have the same type of setup by having a standard HX Stomp and something like a Morningstar MC6 to control it, something along those lines. But the price difference between a standard HX Stomp and the XL is less than if you were to buy an external MIDI controller. Along with that, I went this route because you can only learn one software as far as editing software when you have this type of setup. Getting familiar with the HX Stomp's editing software is all I needed to do. I didn't have to go through the process of learning 2 independent softwares, one for my MIDI controlling process and one for the actual effects themselves. So there are a bunch of awesome resources for these pedals. Basically, the only reason I made this video is not because there's a lack of HX Stomp videos, but because there's not a lot of people using them in this way that I've found making videos. Jimmy from HeyWorshipLeaders pretty much gives you every other possible question you may have about these things. Alex Price is a guy that showed me the idea of doing the OC3. I used that on my acoustic board and wanted to implement that type of setup here. So yeah. If there's any questions you have, I can either point you to the direction of somebody who can answer them or answer them myself if it's something that's not already covered elsewhere. So yeah, hope you have a great day. God bless.